Hey guys, and welcome back to another lesson. Today I want to talk to you and go over 5 skills which I think are essential for any pianist trying to build up his or her repertoire of techniques. I'm going to go through each of the techniques or skills and give an idea for an exercise for you to try it out. Let's get started. The first skill that you should master is scales, being able to play all major and minor scales in all keys. So it's a total of 12 major scales and 12 natural minor scales often. And this is important not just for building your technique, but also for analyzing pretty much any song that you'll come across. Now, the exercise I'm going to suggest here is just playing one of the major scales, in this case E flat major. Now you should be able to play all scales in all hands, preferably simultaneously. Let me go through this particular scale step by step so you'll see kind of how it's done, and then you can look up other scales on the net and figure out pretty much how to play them and finger them. So the main challenge with playing scales is figuring out, first of all, which fingers are to hit which key, and the second thing is where pivots should occur. So pivots are points where your thumb goes underneath one of your other fingers, like here, or when one of your other fingers goes above your thumb, usually going in the other direction, like over here and here. Now the fingers in your hand are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and if you'll take a look at the screen, I've clearly marked where exactly the pivots should occur and also which finger should be playing which key. Take a look. The second important skill I think all pianists should master is octaves. And this is something that beginning pianists come across as they play simple ballads. The left hand often plays a double bass, an octave, when accompanying the chords in the right hand. And this is great. You should also be able to play octaves in your right hand. It's a great way, for example, to build tensions when going from, say, a chorus to a bridge, maybe. Now, a great way to practice octaves is by taking any melody you like, any song, and playing the melody, but in octaves. For example, extra points for anyone who recognizes the following melody. Playing these sorts of melodies really builds up your technique and your ability to play octaves. You can do this also in the left hand. And for extra challenge, transpose it to other keys. You can of course start with simpler melodies, slower melodies, things that will be easy enough for you to get started. The third skill or technique is arpeggiation. Now, arpeggiation simply means playing the notes of the chords in succession in some sort of pattern. And there's really an infinite number of patterns that you could use when playing these arpeggiations. For example, for a C major chord, you could play something like or maybe you could play something like As I've said, there's really an infinite number of arpeggiation patterns you can come up with. I'm going to show you one particular pattern, which I've just played. Which goes like this. I'm playing it for a C major chord. So it starts out with a C, with the thumb, with the first finger, to a G with the third, E, second, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. Now you can keep on going or you could go down. So that kind of happens almost in reverse. C with the fifth, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G, C. That's not the only way to finger this pattern. You can choose other fingerings as well, but it's one to get you started. The idea is to sort of place your fingers on all four relevant chords and then sort of move your hand to the next position and then to the next position and so on and so on. Now you can make pretty great use of this in, for example, just arpeggiating progressions of chords. The fourth technique you should master and get under your belt is stride piano. This refers to a general approach where your left hand kind of usually first plays a bass somewhere and then jumps to the middle of the piano and often plays a chord. This became popularized during the early days of, it wasn't even jazz piano yet, it was ragtime piano. So, you know, these classic tunes that you'd associate with a saloon or a bar. Now, let me give you an exercise, which is really just a progression of chords that you can play to get yourself accustomed to this sort of thing. It's not particularly fast, and you can play it as slow or as fast as you like. It's a progression that sounds like this. I'll play it first and then we'll break it down step by step. And it can repeat over and over again as I've just done. So what am I playing here? Let's first of all look at the left hand. So I'm starting with the bass of a C, jumping to a C major 7, that's my first chord. Then going down to a bass of a B flat, and playing an F minor 7, or a G minor 7, or you can think of this also as a B flat major 6, then bass of A, and I'm playing something here that is G, C, C sharp, and F, and this makes it an A dominant 7th chord with a sharp 5 and sharp 9, and then bass of a D, playing a D dominant 7 with a flat 5, bass of G, and playing an F, B, and E. This makes it a G 13th chord, and then you can repeat. And so on. Now, the right hand almost mirrors what the left hand does, with a few changes. The initial chord it plays, so right when the left hand hits the C major 7th chord, the right hand hits the same chord as well, same notes. Same for the G minor 7 chord. For the A dominant 7th chord, it plays something different. It plays a B flat, E flat, and G. And then for the D dominant 7 flat 5, it plays an F sharp, A sharp, and D. You can also add an E. And then for the G 13th chord, it plays something similar, except that it plays F, A flat, B, and E. So it's just like the left hand, but it adds this A flat here. And this makes it a G 13th flat 9 chord. So this is something for you to help you practice stride piano, and maybe also open up some ideas for your own playing. The fifth and final idea I want to present to you is the circle of fifths, sometimes also named the circle of fourths with slight variations. This refers to a succession of notes which differ from each other in a particular interval, a fifth. Starting from a C, you play a G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, D sharp, A flat, E flat, B flat. I'm too high up, so I'm gonna go down an octave, then play an F and a C. So if I start one octave lower, you'll be able to see the entire range. Now, if you've never encountered this, it might sound or look a bit strange. I mean, what's so special or unique about these notes, except for the fact that they're a fifth apart from each other? Well, it turns out that chords that are a fifth apart sort of lead to each other in an interesting way, right? If I play major chords, it kind of sounds interesting. And so on and so on. Now that still doesn't sound very good, but if I play it in the reverse, so starting from C and going down to an F, to a B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, and so on and so on, it produces, or it can produce, a very pleasing motion of chords if you voice them correctly. And this is going to be the exercise I'm going to give you to practice this circle of fifths. It's basically playing a succession of chords that sounds like this. and so on. It keeps on going. The left hand loops, the right hand kept on going up, although it could have looped as well. Now what am I playing here? Well, I'm playing a C or C dominant 7 to an F, to a B flat dominant 7, to an E flat, to an A flat dominant 7, to a D flat, and if you're paying attention, you'll see that these chords are a C to an F, to a B flat, to an E flat, to an A flat, and so on. So I'm really playing chords that are built on the circle of fifths going down. Now, in greater detail, the left hand is pretty easy to figure out. Starting from B flat, you're just going down chromatically in octaves. And this is pretty much it. The right hand is a little bit more challenging, and I'll go through it slowly, starting from the C major I'm playing here. And I'm playing inversions of these chords in case you're wondering. So this isn't the root form of C major, it's actually the second inversion. So C major, second inversion, F major, first inversion, B flat major, root position, E flat major, second inversion, A flat major, first inversion, D flat major, root position, G flat major, second inversion, B major, first inversion, E major, root position, and you can see the periodicity or pattern. A flat, second inversion, D major, sorry, not A flat, but A major, second inversion, D major, first inversion, G major, root position, and back to the chord I started out with. So not only is this a great way to familiarize yourself with the circle of fifths, which is a basic theoretical concept that you'll encounter many points throughout your career as a pianist, but it's also a great way to memorize the form of different chords, different major chords, in their different inversions. And so on. This brings us to the conclusion of the video and the 5 ideas that I hope will be of use to you on your journey and career as pianists. That's pretty much it. I hope you've learned something interesting, and I'll see you next time.